Today on Topic Circle, we're going to hear from a fellow colleague and MVCC alumna about learning disabilities.
This is MVCC's Topic Circles.
So today we're with Deanna, who's going to start by telling us a little bit about what she does at Mohawk Valley Community College.
Yeah, so at MV, I am the Student and Residence Life Specialist, so I get the best of both worlds. I get to work with students and get to plan a whole bunch of events while working with Residence Life and making sure that all their stuff is taken care of.
That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
So let's move on to your disability story. Can you tell us a little bit about how it happened?
Yeah, so I have a learning disability that I struggle with now, even as an adult. I've definitely, with resources at MV, have learned ways of overcoming this. So I was young. Maybe it was like ninth grade. Yeah, it was ninth grade. Ninth grade when I was diagnosed with the learning disability. I had my IEP. The original school I was with didn't really help. So then we moved to Utica, went to Proctor, and they accelerated all my services. And I ended up graduating top 10 from there. I still had a lot of issues though when I came to college. I had some amazing English teachers that taught me a lot of grammar issues and taught me how to get over it. To this day, I don't know if I can say her name. To this day, I had Erin Severs, and to this day, whenever I'm writing her an email, I'm like, oh, it has a vowel, so I had to put A-N, and then never use that word thing. Things like that. The teachers at MV has helped me with that. But then I have used the Learning Disabilities Services Accessibilities Office. I lived in there when I was a student here. I'm also an alumni of MV. When I was a student here, I lived in there, wrote my own essays. They would go through the grammar. Horrible grammar, horrible. And even now, as a professional, the disability just doesn't go away. You always have it. You're just more well aware of it. Mm-hmm. So there's resources I use. Now I use like websites called Grammarly. And then I have my people. So when I know I'm sending a very important email or to someone important, I will have someone proofread it. Sometimes I have 2 or 3 people proofread it. Sure. But I have my people in my office that I can trust to do the same with me. As well as people from other offices that look out for me. So I just learned more to how to utilize all the resources I have at the college, professionally or as a student when I was a student, to make my disability not really known, because many people don't even know I have it, unless I tell, which I don't care because grammar is not my thing.
Sounds like you've done some great work though.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I did not know you were an alum either. That's really awesome to share, and that you have a faculty member with a special shout out. Tell us a little bit about the impact your disability had on you as a student. And I know you just talked a little bit about that, but even as a colleague, anything else?
It's rough because sometimes people just don't understand why there's typos. Like, so when I have to type as a professional, type minutes for like my program board meetings or residence council, at times it was student congress, there's always grammar issues. Even though you run it through Grammarly and things like that, you take those extra steps, there's always going to be. Mm-hmm. So I have worked closely with the students, and they call me Mama D, they call me D, whatever they want to call me.
Nice.
And I'm like, listen, you look over the minutes, just make sure I didn't do anything wrong in them. If there's any grammar issues, it's okay. Numbers are not some people's thing. Grammar is not my thing. It's okay. As long as I'm not putting a not or a shouldn't and saying should instead of shouldn't, things like that, it's okay. It's all going to be okay. And then as a student, it was rough because like you kind of get a little jealous like that people just are getting it. They're getting it. I'm like, so grammar is my big thing, but a lot of times I have to hear things or physically do things. And I had an adjunct teacher a while ago that just didn't understand my disability. So I really struggled in that class until I was like, okay, I need help. So I opened up to the, at that time it was the disabilities office. Disabilities office, whatever. I connected with it. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm failing because I am not understanding. I need the notes. It was I don't want to say that. It was a computer class, we'll put it like that. Okay. I need the assistance. I need to physically be doing it while I have someone in my ear. They're like, yes, and you're allowed, those are your accommodations. And they kind of became my advocate. So I had to learn to speak up myself to say I need help to the right people that can then help me, and then I ended up graduating, so it worked out.
That's awesome. And the advocacy piece is key.
Yes.
Yep. Are there other challenges you faced you want to talk about?
No,
that's
not
okay.
really. Not really. A lot of times, it's important to tell your story, whether you think it's important or not important.
Sure.
Especially with students, because they might not realize, and I think a reason why I do connect with students very well is because I let them know, what's happened to me in my past, about my learning disabilities when they're struggling with classes. And I use myself as an example. You can't get help. I'm not going to know you need help unless you say I need help. You have to it's a good way of teaching the students to advocate for themselves. So
It's awesome. It's awesome. If there's one thing you want the world to know about your disability or the college, as a colleague, what would you want to share about that? What do you want people to know?
Compassion goes a long way. They might not understand it. They might just think it's lazy or not being detailed oriented or not paying attention to details, but sometimes you don't know what's behind that email. You don't know if it's you've checked it over 20 times and you're like, ugh, did that really just happen? Compassion goes a long way. And as far as understanding, everyone is different.
Love it.
Compassion.
Love it. Compassion. Well, thank you for coming in, sharing your story, letting everybody know a little bit about you and also about learning disability.
Yes, thank
Thank
you
you.
for giving me the opportunity to teach others about learning disabilities.
Awesome. Thanks, Deanna.